Hey everyone and welcome to the channel. My name is Ash aka I'm a Ghostbuster and today I'm doing a review for Wayward Strand on Xbox. Now this was released onto the store on the 15th of the 9th 2022 and it's developed and published by Ghost Pattern, and they were kind enough to send me a copy to do this video review, so big thank you to them for that. Now this game is a narrative adventure game where the main sort of selling point of the game is that all of the sort of NPC sort of UI characters all have their own sort of lives. They're not just stood there waiting for you to interact with them. They're not just stood there waiting for you to give them something. They go about their business on their own schedule, and whether you're there or not. So if you decide not to interact with them, they'll do their thing. If you do, then you'll be able to sort of interact with them, chat with them, glean some information from them, but they'll be on the way. And that is the sort of centerfold of the gameplay of the game. Now the game is set in the summer of 1978, and you play as this teenage girl called Casey, who is on her school holidays, and she goes for a long weekend at her mum's work, which happens to be a airborne floating hospital. So it's full of like old people and stuff like that, people getting on in age, seniors, and her mum asks her to help out around the hospital where she can. And Casey decides that she's going to write an article about her visit for her school newspaper. So her idea is, I'm going to speak to all these people and get as much information as I can to write my article. And that's how it sets you off. And the game itself from the out is a nice little game. You get a watch early on in the game, which then appears on the screen. You're there for 3 days, and these 3 days count down as you play. And as you're experiencing these 3 days, all of the NPCs are busy doing their own thing, whether, like I say, you interact with them or not. So you've got 3 days, and at the end of each day you go home and you come back in the morning with your mum. You have to make the most of this time, gathering information, speaking to residents, eavesdropping on residents. Like I say, if you don't want to interact with them, you just want to sort of have a shifty listening and find out what they're doing. And yeah, that is the sort of core mechanic of the game. It's not super in-depth, it's not super tricky, it's a very sort of simple game, but it's got tons of great dialogue. Like I say, there's some really interesting sort of patients to talk to. There's a couple more than others that you would want to go back and forth with. You might even want to repeat visit on multiple days to get more and more information, hear more about their stories and stuff like that. Now, the game itself, I think, looks really nice. It's like this weird sort of simplistic, hand-drawn looking sort of art style, very much sort of like they used to see on like things like X3. So, or 13, or however you call it, where it's got like the cell shading on the edges, but this looks more sort of, it looks more like a cartoon that someone's drawn, basically. Now, it may not be for everyone, like I say, the sort of lower poly style graphical sort of element, but I think it has a nice little charm to it. I think it's really nice. The environments are interesting. However, by the end of the 3 days, you've seen everything. Like I say, it's not a very big environment to explore. The game itself plays pretty well. There isn't enough save slots. That is one of my downsides to the game. You only get 3 save slots, and this is one of those games where you'll probably want to go back and forth, and you may talk to someone and go, actually I didn't want to talk to them, I want to go talk to someone else, and it could benefit from having more save slots. However, like I say, it does give you a reason to replay the game. And the game isn't massively long in length. It does just give you another reason to sort of go back through and replay it. Now, the gameplay also features loads of dialogue. Like I say, it's really good, really nice dialogue. Probably thousands and thousands of lines of dialogue. So it changes and varies depending on what day and who you're talking to. So there's loads of reasons to go and explore, talk to people, try different things on different days. However, you aren't able to skip the dialogue. Because of the time sort of limit where it counts down, you have to just have the conversations in sort of real time as such, where it counts down the clock. But this is a really interesting game. It won't be for everyone. It's like a slow pace sort of meandering chill game, and I like that. I'm all for sort of minimalistic style games that just let you walk around and chat to people and stuff like that. I'm not fighting zombies, I'm not going crazy shooting terrorists and stuff like that. I'm on a floating hospital at that, with a notebook, taking notes from patients about their histories and their experiences and stuff like that, ready to write a article for my school magazine. And that's fine. It's a really fun little game. Could it have some improvements? Of course it could, always. But overall, it's a really solid game from an indie dev, and I look forward to seeing what they do in the future. But that's it for this video, guys. Hope you've enjoyed it. If you have, hit that like button, hit subscribe, and we'll see you soon for more content. Bye for now.